Hi, everybody. Welcome to Queers and Soaps. This is our second Patreon exclusive covering Falcon Crest, and we're talking about episodes 1, 2, and 3 of season 1. So we're excited because we've never really watched the show before, and I'm sure Aaron has some comments.
I have a few.
So roll the credits and we'll get right into it. So first things first, opening credits, opening theme song. How do you feel about it?
Of primetime soaps, it's not my fave.
Really?
Yes.
When I was watching this a year ago, Jessica was like, "Are you watching Superman?" Because she always used to hear the dun, 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 and she's like, "You're watching Superman," and I'm like,
Okay.
"No, I'm not."
Yeah. I was looking at like some info about the show, and at one point they're like they didn't want it to just be Dallas but with grapes. And I was like, oh well, that's what it was going for, it seemed.
Right.
So
Well, at this point, the other three were already out.
mm-hmm.
Dynasty came out in January of '81, and this was like November, December of '81.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it starts out with Emma.
And her boyfriend?
I'm trying to remember her last name.
Oh, Channing.
I want to say Chandler. I'm like, that's not right. That's why I paused.
Yeah, we get a little murder, which I'm kind of like, why is Uncle Jason that obsessed with Emma?
Yeah, they keep saying how close they were.
I'm like, are we awkwardly close? Because yeah. I mean,
Well,
I don't know.
maybe she
Maybe
was maybe she was the baby of the family, like of
yeah.
that
Well,
generation.
she was, so maybe that was it. And they did live close by.
And the son wasn't around, so maybe he just kind of like.
Yeah, maybe just. But Uncle Jason, don't hurt. Yeah, I love these 80s soaps and the acting. It's like I'm not criticizing it. I love like the over the topness.
So yeah, so Emma's fooling around with her boyfriend, who I think works for the vineyard,
Mm-hmm.
and her uncle Jason catches them, and there's a little bit of a tussle, and Jason falls and he dies. And Emma's boyfriend hits the road.
I love the part in the third episode when because Emma has just kind of lost it in and she's like, Uncle Jason's died twice. Angela's like, what do you mean? I'm like,
And then
lady.
she explains it. And Angela's like, Charlie, she remembers. I can't remember what happens there, but I wouldn't put it past Angela to start drugging her to keep her like catatonic.
I know Angela kind of looks like this just very put together, nice, sweet, woman, and then she's cutthroat.
Mm-hmm.
But in a way that JR is not. Like JR wants to show you, or even Alexis, they want to show you what they're going to do. Angela's just like,
Don't touch my grapes.
Yeah.
So Jason's son. Oh well, okay. So he falls.
Mhm.
Angela gets wind of this, and she sets up a car accident. She puts him in a car and has him drive over a cliff and has the car explode to make it look like that's how he died.
Part of me I'm like, oh, what if they brought him back from the dead? And then I can just picture Rose going, he doesn't have a head. He doesn't have a head.
Well, I can't confirm Ordonai if he ever comes back from the dead because I haven't seen that far. So I guess we'll find out one day.
Is that like a little wink? Like he comes back now?
No, I don't. I actually don't know. For once, I'm on the same page as you. Like, I don't know. They Angela calls her nephew, Jason's son, who lives in New York, who
Mhm.
is a pilot, and his wife Maggie, who I really like. I
Oh,
always consistently like Maggie.
yeah, but I like the actress Suzanne Sullivan. I've always liked her. She was on Dharma and Greg, wasn't she?
Was she?
Isn't she Gregory's mother?
I never watched it, so you would know better than me.
Uh, yeah, she was Kitty Montgomery on Dharma and Greg.
Oh,
This really rich, sophisticated woman who, so yeah, I've always liked her.
okay. So you have a pre-existing relationship with the actress.
Yes, in a later series from the 90s.
um, they have two children, Cole, a son, and a daughter named Vicky. And Vicky likes the older gentleman.
Yes, she does. And I don't like Vicky. I'm just gonna say it.
I don't think anybody likes Vicky.
Oh, okay, good. Uh,
Oh, little trivia. She leaves pretty early on, but she comes back in later seasons, recasted by the
as
actress that plays Grace on Passions.
and I'm just like, I looked up when Grace came, and it's like years down the road. I was like,
uh,
damn. I hope it was gonna be one of those season one casts where it's like, oh, we like you, but you just ain't doing it for us, and we cast again.
no. Do you recognize Cole?
He's been on a lot of things I've seen.
Well, I always saw him. Well, when I first saw him on this, I was like, "Oh, it's the guy from Melrose Place."
Keith, that's yes, yes,
Keith.
yes, yes. When I had to look him up because I was curious, I was like, I've seen you on something else, and it was Keith. I was like, oh, you stalked Allison. That's right.
Yes. Well, he dated her and then he stalked her.
Well,
Like you do on Melrose Place.
just
90% of that cast
is the other way around. You stalk and then date on Melrose, but in this,
Well, usually it was like they dated, it didn't work out, and then they got stalked, and then it was a whole like you almost got killed, and then they died. So that's usually how that went.
oh Melrose.
And the Cole is kind of onto Vicky and her extracurricular activities with the teacher. I'm not really sure how old they're supposed to be. I don't know if they're supposed to be in high school, college.
They're not in high school. They're in college.
They're okay.
Which
So
is
then it's
why
not,
why I was maybe because it's early 80s. I don't know about when they're like, oh, we have to leave. We don't want to move. Our everything we love's here. I was like, you're an adult. You don't have to move. Because it's not like their parents were those overprotecting like
yeah.
they didn't seem that way. It was like they'd be very okay if the kid said, no, we want to stay back. I mean, they kept their brownstone. They didn't sell it until episode 3, so the kids had a place to live.
Yeah.
So I don't know. They make it seem like they're younger than what they are to me.
They act younger than they are, I guess. Sometimes.
That is true. They do act younger than they are.
So Maggie and Cole Giaberti end up going to what?
As we were watching episode 1, John was watching with me because he wanted to watch. He was like, why is that girl with that guy? He's not that attractive, but she's crying over him. Like, not that looks matter, but
Who?
the guy Vicky was with. He's like, oh. He's like, oh, for soap, in soaps, you expect very attractive people. It's like the CW network. It's what you expect.
Yeah, so I mean, Chase and Maggie go to the funeral. The kids kind of stay home, and Cole tracks Vicky down to her teacher's apartment, and he breaks in and he gets into a tussle and ends up getting arrested. And that's when the family was like, we have to get out of the city. We have to like start a new life for the kids.
I'm like, your kids are grown, but okay.
And Angela's like, they're only staying a night. she's like, don't touch my grapes.
It's all about those grapes.
So Angela's kid children are Julia and Emma, who we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And Julia's son is Lance, played by Lorenzo Lamas. Very cute.
Yeah.
And a little bit of a chip off his grandmother's block.
Well, he wants to be. You can tell, he idolizes his grandma. But he doesn't have like that. As you kind of see in episode 3, he tries to fix the mistake he made that he blamed on Chase. And I'm just like, I think Angela would have handled that just a little bit differently.
See, okay, we'll get to that when we get to it. But he also seems to be like her muscle and her henchman. Yeah. She's always like, take care of this. Make sure you get rid. Like, he does her dirty deeds for her.
Grandma says jump. Lance says how high.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of implied by Angela that Julia might have a drinking problem, and I'm like, when you live on a vineyard, shocker. Because she says to Lance, like, your mother's had too much to drink. Get her away from them. She's talking too much.
I didn't take it that way. I took it as like, she got loose lips if she drinks. She gonna talk about what the plans are.
Yep.
Because Angela doesn't trust Julia, you can tell, but she talks about stuff so openly with her.
So according to the will, Chase inherits 50 acres out of around 500 acres. And they end up deciding to stay, and the episode ends with a family dinner and a shot of a falcon, which I don't like that falcon.
There's also the whole thing about the will where I think if he died under mysterious circumstances or something, like Chase would get everything. That's how I took it, and that's why Angela was so like, we got to make it seem like he died this way or something, a certain way. So that's why
that makes sense. That's more dramatic.
Yeah. So now she got to keep Emma locked away.
And drugged.
And drugged.
Episode 2, we both kind of agreed that it wasn't good.
If I was watching live, I probably would have been like, oh, is this what this is becoming? And I may not have stuck around for episode 3.
Yeah, I kind of zoned out. I was just so not interested in the story.
I was on my phone scrolling, watching it just because I remember I've watched it twice. I didn't really care for it the first time, and I definitely did not care for it the second time. Like, I had flashes when I started it, and it showed like the little preview at the beginning, which I do not like that the shows did that back then. I'm like, don't give away your good stuff.
It seems to be the Lorimar shows.
Yeah.
Do it. Not saying
because Dynasty didn't do it.
Yeah.
Well, did they? I don't remember. Oh, that's not my point. My point is, it reminded me of what the episode was about, and I went, "Ooh, no, not a good one." And that's why I didn't make it episode 3. But this time I had to watch it.
So I think the basic premise, from what I can remember, because I blocked it out, even though I watched it like 2 hours ago.
I look at this: friend comes to town, friend needs money. Angela uses friend to try to get Chase out of town. Friend is not good at doing anything, clearly, and then has to leave town because his plan didn't work.
Okay, I got a few more plot points than you.
And grapes get hurt in the making of this episode.
That was one of the plot points.
I don't know how true this is about the winery vineyard or whatever. I was like, oh, I wonder if you could just take a helicopter and just fly a few laps and just like, I feel like the equivalence of that today would be like, I dropped my phone in water, and you have a blow dryer going.
To me, that was one of the most interesting parts about this episode. I was like, is that how you dry the grapes?
If it, yeah. Because that's the one thing Angela you can count on. She cares about those grapes.
So Chase's friend comes to town. Apparently they were in the military together. And Chase saved his life. They're both pilots. The friend keeps trying to get him to invest in different companies because he needs money, because I think he has a gambling problem. I think I got picked up that. Chase isn't really feeling it, neither is Maggie. He's kind of flirting with Julia, and Maggie's trying to like protect Julia, but Julia's like butt out, so they kind of have a little rift there.
It seems like Julia spends way too much time in that lab. So the first part, like,
I think that's her job.
Well, yeah, that's her job. I mean, like, I feel like she spends too much time there. So when it didn't matter, like her creep dar was off. So while this charming, because I didn't care for him, come in, she's just like, oh hi, I make grapes. No, well, not that's not what she's said clearly, but
Angela enlists he approaches Angela. I don't know which way it happened, if she approached him or vice versa.
He approached Angela to try to get her to invest in his company.
Tried to get him to get the Giobertis to go away.
And she was kind of like, I'm not saying I'm going to invest, but I'm not going to say I'm not going to invest. But if you get Chase out of here, I'll invest. Kind of thing.
So then he takes upon it himself in the middle of the night to turn on the irrigation system, which completely drenches the vineyard. And that's when the helicopters come into play.
And that's when Angela's like, she doesn't like this friend either. She's like, that can harm our grapes because of the fungus or something. If it gets, and then she's just like, boy, that's not part of the plan. My deal's off. I don't care. You try hurt my.
Nobody told you to touch my grapes.
I'll have to make that. But I want to keep a note. Touch my grapes is a new thing I want to use. Don't touch my grapes.
Another small but interesting part of this episode for me was that Angela still goes on dates with her ex-husband here and there. And she did the walk of shame. When Julie was going to dry out the vineyard, she was just getting home when the sun was up. Well, and she was like, I was in capable hands. Excuse me.
Didn't she go to New York?
Angela?
To meet her ex-husband?
Did she? No, maybe San Francisco.
Oh, okay. I mean, they fly to New York like it's nothing on the show. Maybe it's the next episode. It's like, oh, I've got to go to New York. I'm like, that's a 6-hour flight. Because this other show I watched informed me how long it was today.
It's a 6-hour flight, but depending on which direction you're going, it could feel like 9 hours. Because if you're going back to New York, California is 3 hours behind it. So if it's a 6-hour flight plus 3 hours, it's like 9 hours.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's 6 hours, but the time differences, it could mess you up.
That's one of those oh fuck moments.
Yeah, but if you're going the other way, you gain 3 hours.
You're like, oh, I gained 3 hours already. Going back,
yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. She still dates her
ex-husband.
Are they ex-husband? Is it her ex-husband?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Well,
I don't dislike.
A little weird about it. She's like, you got flour. Like, she's just so weird.
Well, I don't dislike this show. There are moments where I'm kind of just like, they're good. Like, it's good, but I have moments where it's kind of like a little. I need a little extra camp pushed in there.
It gets there. The first season is a little rough, but like I said this to you before, I think it's better than the first season of Dynasty.
Oh God, that's not a big bar to jump over.
I know, but I needed something lower than it to make you want to watch it. So let's go on to episode 3 since episode 2 sucked and we said all the good parts already.
Yeah.
So what went on? Oh, so episode 3, the kids aren't really
what went on in episode 3. The biggest takeaway I have from episode 3 was when Chase went, I make $3 an hour. I went, oh my God, how the fuck do you live?
My biggest takeaway from episode 3 was when they sold the brownstone, and I was like, "Don't do it. That brownstone was worth a couple of million in 2021." I'm like, "You fools, fools!"
It's like having one of those houses in San Francisco, like what the Tanners had.
What did they need? They needed $50,000. If they sold that brownstone for $50,000, that brownstone is at least worth 2 to 3 million, if not more now.
I think they sold it for more than that because she said they
I
were
hope
going to take care of so much.
But I guarantee you they didn't get millions for it.
I know. I
back
was
then.
kind of thinking the same thing. It's like, wait, you have property in New York City that you don't rent? Don't get rid of that. Sublease. I mean, I don't live in New York, and I know you don't get rid of property you own.
Sublet it until one of the kids moves back.
But they did have the IRS after them, and I'm sure
Yeah.
I'm like and they did try many different options, and this was the only option they had really that didn't connect to Angela.
They tried to get a neighbor to invest. Angela kind of botched that.
Technically, they did get the neighbor to invest. Just then Angela got hold of them. They did get the loan. Yeah, they did get the loan. And then Angela got hold of them because she's on the board.
And then she even like fake offered to give them money if she got like a percentage. I think she said 400 a barrel, and he's like, it's worth 900.
She's like, well, that's what I always gave Jason. I think what would make this show even better is if Angela was like a Southerner lady, because she's very like proper that, but I could just be like, I could just see her as being like, well, that's what I gave to Jason. Kind of stretching out her words and certain things.
One of the workers has a son. I think his name is Mario, and he had a few scenes with Vicky. That kind of starts to become a thing.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Yeah. Going back to episode 2, when Chase's friend showed up, I saw Vicky eyeing him, and I was like, you need to stop it with these older men.
She has daddy issues from her daddy always being on a plane.
But I like how at the end, when they had the family meeting to decide if they were going to sell the brownstone and stay, that they were on board, Cole was on board, and Vicky was like, I don't like it here, but I guess if everybody else does, I could give it a try. I was like,
my parents she pretty much went, my parents are great people, so I guess I could stand to get to know them a little better. Like, if you don't know them now, you ain't gonna know
them. I like Julia, and I don't know why. And I think it's because she tries to make an effort to be kind to the Giabertis. And Emma's just locked up in her room being crazy.
Uncle Jason. Like, sorry, that's the takeaway I get from the
coming down the stairs. I want a glass of brandy. Where's Uncle Jason? And then she's like, oh, that's right. He died twice.
And Angela is just like, her face says but inside she's going, what the fuck? Like, it's like, this freaking family, does any of my children try, like,
I don't know why, but I get a kick out of whenever the Giabertis call Angela Angie.
Because she don't like it.
Yeah.
Because she's got those little, when she was getting putting on some of her clothes and she's putting on that little like bow there, I was like, you know what, maybe we should bring back the bow. I was kind of like, just her just
what else happened? Anything big?
Well, Chase and Lance went for drinks.
Cole and Lance. Yeah, I get their names mixed up too because they're both C names.
So see, I'm keeping with, in my soap opera where we get Lewis and Lawrence backwards, I'm keeping with the tradition of soaps. Lance just showed, he kind of a child. I want another drink. And the bartender's like, buddy, I'm closed. And kept his cool. And Chase poured over his drink. I was like,
well, first he even said Angie. He was like, my mother is, or my grandmother is Angie. Like
Channing.
Channing. I keep wanting to say Chandler. I'm like, that's not right. That's why I keep stopping.
I did love that. It was a little like on Dallas. If you said, "Well, my uncle is J.R. Ewing," people would have been like, "Ah," but on this on Falcon Crest, it's so. Yeah, I don't care.
I get the feeling that family is not well liked.
I don't think they are either.
So, and I don't think Angela would do anything to manipulate other people unless they were coming for her grapes. So,
don't touch my grapes.
But the ending scene was kind of fun when the family announced to Angela and Lance that they were staying and they sold the brownstone. They were not happy.
That look on her face. Like, I felt like she was getting ready. She's about to beat Chase with gnome like a wire hanger and just don't touch my grapes. You know.
I feel like a lot of season 1 episodes end with like a shot on Angela's face being not happy, like foiled again.
Like,
I'll get you next time.
And your little falcon too.
We'll have to keep track of that and see if that adds up.
But I will say, episode 3, they could have got rid of 2. More. Yeah, I was like, okay, we coming a little into this. Like, you could tell they were finding their groove a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, at least they did it faster than Dynasty season 1. Granted, I haven't watched any more of Falcon Crest yet, but I wanted to. So that's how I was like, oh, okay. I wanted to see what was going to happen next.
All right. Well, we'll check back in with them soon, and hopefully it stays good, and you'll still want to watch it.
So how would you rate the first 3 episodes in your opinion?
I'm going to try and look at this with 1981 eyes and not 2021 eyes. So, okay. For a pilot in 1981,
I gave it a 6.5.
I was going to say 7. Because a lot happened in 49 minutes. It wasn't like it was a 2-hour pilot. So I thought it was a pretty good pilot. Second episode
gets a 3.
It's only because I learned about the helicopter thing and because I like that Angela was doing I forgot what I wanted to call it. I wanted to call it a host roll, but that's not right.
But episode 3 we get a 7 from me.
Yeah, episode 3 was on par with the pilot. A consistent 7, I think.
I will say for these characters,
I was watching. I wasn't playing with my phone. I was actually interested in what was happening.
Like, there are likable characters too. Like, I like that Chase and Maggie are down to earth.
I don't like Chase. Something about him. I don't like the way he I don't like his temper. I don't like the way he talks to his kids. I don't like the way he talks to his wife sometimes.
Oh, I haven't. I must have missed something. I don't know.
I might be lashing out over future things.
It's like I haven't seen
when Cole was trying to help out with the vineyards and he
oh well, yeah.
He was like, yeah. I was like, shut up.
Yeah, but Tommy, that was a 2-person job, and he was one person doing something he's never done before.
Oh, okay. You're on his side now. All right.
Hey, I grew up in the South. If someone would be like, "Here, you want to help me on the farm?" I'd be like, "What can I do that doesn't require machinery?" Like, I would never touch machinery I did not know how to operate, and that's what Cole did. So yes, I'm on Chase.
He was like he knew how to operate it. He just didn't see.
And he was on a hill, kind of. It looked like it was like, of course, it's gonna flip over.
Okay. I don't know why I'm being attacked, but okay.
Can't help it. Call,
Well,
he
out of
is.
the characters that we have now, I like Maggie.
I like Maggie, Julia the best. Of
I like Lance because he's cute, and
course.
I like a little schemer.
Oh,
Um,
I enjoy Angela. I like Angela.
can't wait till he starts taking his shirt off and starts, walking around in his speedo. God, I love the 80s.
I know when men were not scared to wear speedos or short shorts. I still every time John's wearing his, I say his little Gary Ewing shorts. I'm like, oh, you're wearing your little Gary Ewing shorts. He's like, huh? I'm like, because Gary always wears those really short shorts. And he's just like, I've started in my everyday life. I now make things related to soap operas because it's all I'm focusing on, it seems.
Well,
Now,
because we have a podcast that has consumed our lives.
because now I bet you anything, when I see grapes, I will pick them up and say, don't touch my grapes.
Don't touch my grapes.
Oh.
That should just be the title of this episode, Falcon Crest, Don't Touch My Grapes.
Don't touch my grapes.
But all right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us for this Patreon exclusive, and be sure to look out for future episodes of Tomorrow's a New Day coming out exclusively early on Patreon, as well as the after show. And thank you for your continued support. And if you haven't already, which I'm sure you have, follow us at Queers and Soaps everywhere on all the socials.
Subscribe, leave a review. Reviews help us in ways I'm told is very good.
And until next time, we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.